Hey, welcome to Marianne's Last Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making a somewhat famous family recipe. It's salmon chowder. I call it slammin' salmon chowder because it's a flavor bomb. It's really good. So let's get cooking. I've got my ingredients here prepped. Some celery, carrots, and onions, a little chicken stock, some homemade smoked salmon kippered, garlic, thyme, bay leaves, evaporated milk, and bacon. We're gonna get those going, and when they get together, they're gonna be fantastic. So I'm gonna start with some olive oil in my pan. I've got my big deep soup pot here. A couple tablespoons, maybe even 3. So I've got a lot of veggies here. And we're going to get those onions, carrots, and celery going. Basically the beginnings of a classic chicken soup. And then we're going to add some amazing stuff and make it great. So we've got those going. Going to add a little salt and pepper to get the vegetables sweating. Maybe a teaspoon and a half of black pepper. And I'll keep them going until they get translucent. Then I'm going to cut up some potatoes to go in next. So I've got about 4 carrots sliced into circles, cut in half the carrots if they're too thick at the ends, and then about half of a full celery package, or maybe 4 full stalks sliced. I've got about 8 Yukon Gold potatoes cubed, and I'm going to add in about 6 cloves of garlic because I love garlic, but if you don't love garlic, you can add in less. But it adds to the flavor and it mellows as it cooks into the soup. Now that my vegetables have sweated and they're starting to go a little bit translucent, at least the onions are, I'm going to add in some chicken stock base, which, like I said in a previous video, the Tones from, I have to get it from Amazon now, Costco used to carry it, and Three Bears used to carry it, but I have to get it from Amazon now. Best stuff in the world. Doesn't take up the space in your fridge like a big box of stock does, and it has the best flavor of any stock I've tried, so Tones is the stuff. Get that in there. It's about 2 tablespoons because I'm going to add a lot of water in here. It's going to be a big pot of salmon chowder, and I always separate it at the end and put some into the freezer in a Ziploc, and I have it pre-prepared for the next time we want it, because I do not have a family that will eat leftovers at all. So I'm adding in my garlic now. You always want to add garlic right before you add the liquid so it doesn't burn and turn bitter. And in it goes, along with about a teaspoon of thyme and 2 bay leaves. You can crush them up and you can actually just eat them with your meal. But I like the old tradition, like who gets the bay leaf is gonna get the luck for the day. So I'm putting them in whole. Next ingredient in, you cannot buy it at any store that I know of. You can buy it from the internet. It's a little spendy. So a substitution for it would be some red canned salmon, probably about 3 of the tuna-sized cans. As you can see, I've got a full pint of this, Plus, if you're using the canned red salmon, you need to add a little bit of liquid smoke, about a teaspoon. Go easy on that because that can overwhelm your dish. I'm going to pour all of the oil that comes out in the process of canning this, and then I'm going to chop it up and add it to our soup. So the gloriousness that is homemade kippered salmon is right there, all chopped up, ready to go into the chowder. And in it goes. And I'll plop that down in. If you're using the can, it's the time to add your canned and your liquid smoke. Turn that up a little bit because we're going to be adding our liquids now, and we want it to cook those potatoes and get everything finished, plus get the fond off of the sides and bottom of the pan. So in goes some evaporated milk, 1 can. And because you never want to waste what's in the bottom of the can, I'm going to fill up my water into the can and put about 4 to 5 cans of water into our chowder. Now I've got all that stuff in there, and I do leave the skin on. Canned salmon isn't going to come with the skin. The skin really turns into this buttery, melty goodness when it's kippered and in the process of cooking for 90 minutes in a pressure cooker. It's not like eating the skin of salmon that you just bake or broil or barbecue. It's very edible, it has a lot of nutrients in it, and it's delicious. So we've got that going, and this is what it looks like as I've just added our evaporated milk and water. It's getting going. We're almost there. So seafood and bacon, like bacon wrapped shrimp, or really bacon with any kind of meat, bacon in anything, is really good. And it is the garnish for this chowder. This isn't a thickened chowder. If you really want a thickened chowder, all you have to do is mix up about 3 tablespoons of flour with 3 tablespoons of water, get it very well combined, and then add it to your soup, and it'll become thick like a chowder, a traditional chowder. We don't like it that way. It's kind of gloppy, and it's just not my favorite texture. So we leave it out. I'm going to chop up the bacon. I've got a whole pound here, but like I said, it's a garnish. You add how much you want, and it just finishes it and adds amazing flavor. There's so much going on in this. Somebody that ate it just went, there's so many things going on. I can't figure out what they all are, but they're amazing together. So we're gonna chop up our bacon, fry it separately, put it out onto a towel, and let the grease drain. And then we're going to leave it on the side for people to add after they've dished up their chowder. Side note on cutting up that bacon, it's always best if you leave your bacon just slightly frozen. So I keep my bacon in the freezer when I'm going to use it. I thaw it partially in the microwave until it's still frozen in the middle and just barely defrosted on the outside. It'll cut up much easier, and if not, you can use scissors. That works well as well. So I have my bacon sliced up. It's going to go in to a frying pan. I'm going to get it pretty good and crispy, even for people who don't love the crispy. Once it hits the chowder, it's going to soften. So I'd say hard and fast rule, make it crispy, and then take it out and drain it. So I'm breaking up my bacon with my beloved temperature, mix and chop in the frying pan to get it separated. So you just kind of bash away. This will take about probably 5 to 8 minutes to get it where I want it, and then it'll be ready to garnish the chowder, and it's going to be flavor time. This is not a low-cal dish, obviously. It's decadent. It's amazing. It's something if you want to really impress people without having to do like a full-on Julia Childs book bourguignon. It will impress them. They'll think you got mad skills, but it's really not that hard. Once your chowder reaches the bubble, like this has, you're going to turn it down to low, cover it, and let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and it's going to be done. So, I've got my bacon ready. It's going to come out and get put on some paper towels. And then the last two additions is going to be a little bit of cream and some frozen corn. I strongly recommend using frozen corn rather than using canned corn in every instance possible. And if you're lucky, and I'm very lucky, in the summer, my friend Lisa, she hooks me up with some of her dad's Michigan sweet summer corn, and it elevates this to heavenly heights. It's already there, but it kicks it up into the highest kingdom. So if you have that fresh corn, use it. If not, definitely use frozen. So here we go. We've got a bowl of glorious salmon chowder with that chunks of red kippered salmon poking up. I'm gonna garnish it with some of that delicious bacon. It'll be time to dish up. I'm serving that with a little bit of crusty bread. To sop up that delicious broth. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you try it because it is so worth it. And we'll see you next time. Time to nosh.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Digging into a family favorite here.
Very much.
So many flavors. Very, very good. Thanks for visiting with us. Happy cooking.